This is Vijay from CLAT 100, and here in this session, we are going to discuss legal aptitude questions that were asked in Shift 2 of Maharashtra 5-year law entrance examination 2023. Which of the following is not a grievous hurt? To abuse, to fracture bones, to stab, to beat by a rod, to bleed. Isn't the answer very obvious? Of course, to abuse. Alright? It does not mean that you keep abusing. Alright, grievous hurt has been defined in section 320 of the Indian Penal Code. 320, not 420. Alright, what does BCI stand for? It's not BCCI. BCI, Bar Council of India. Find the odd one out. Right against exploitation, right to property, cultural and educational rights. What do you think is the answer? Of course, right to property, because it's not a fundamental right anymore. Right against exploitation, Articles 23 and 24 of the Indian Constitution. Right to property is a constitutional right now. This is Article 300A, mind you, 300A. Earlier, it used to be a fundamental right under Article 31, but that was amended in 44th Amendment in the year 1978. And cultural and educational rights, of course, Articles 29 and 30. So, which one is odd one out? Of course, right to property, because that is just a constitutional right and not a fundamental right. Which of the following is permanent body and not subject to dissolution? Rajya Sabha, Council of Ministers, Lok Sabha, Legislative Assembly. We all know the answer, Rajya Sabha. And hey, the maximum sanctioned strength of Rajya Sabha is 250. Present strength is 245. It cannot be more than 245. Alright. Representation from states and union territories is 233. Nominated by the President, 12. From states, 225, that is the further breakup of 233, and from union territories, 8. There are only 3 union territories from which you get Rajya Sabha members at this stage. These are Delhi, 3 members, Jammu and Kashmir, 4 members, and Puducherry, 1 member. As per the provision of the Indian Citizenship Act, which of the following is not a way of losing Indian citizenship? And the answer is very obvious, naturalization, because through naturalization, you may actually acquire Indian citizenship. Alright? What is child labor? Hey, we are not sure about the options. Would you please help us by putting the options in the comment section? Under which part of the Indian Constitution citizens are expected, mind you, expected to respect the national anthem and national flag? DPSP, fundamental rights, fundamental duties, nowhere. The answer is obvious. Fundamental duties. Article 51AA, this particular thing in which you are expected to respect the national anthem and national flag is 51AA. Fundamental rights are from Articles 12 to 35, Directive Principles of State Policy, Articles 36 to 51, and immediately after that you have fundamental duties, Article 51A, and there are 11 fundamental duties. Originally there were 10. In which of the following offences the accused and the victim are the same person? Criminal conspiracy, abetment to suicide, attempt to suicide. This is very commonsensical. Alright. Attempt to suicide. Alright. Now, criminal conspiracy is defined in section 120A of the Indian Penal Code. It requires at least 2 people, of course. Abetment to suicide is in section 306 of the Indian Penal Code. And section 309 of Indian Penal Code criminalizes attempt to suicide. It has not been scrapped. Please keep that in mind. I repeat, it has not been scrapped. Of course, the critics say that when you fail in everything, you try to kill yourself. And when you fail there too, how can you be punished? What you need is support and no punishment, right? And please keep that in mind, the section 309 has not been scrapped. Alright. Section 115 of Mental Health Care Act 2017 makes section 309 almost ineffective, but is very much there. Whoever dishonestly uses any movable property to his own advantage has committed misappropriation. Misappropriation has been defined in section 403 of the Indian Penal Code. Which of the following is a type of intellectual property? Now, this question was asked in Shift 1 also this year. Alright, patent, land, fixed deposit. We do not even remember all the options. And the answer is obvious. Patent, government of the people, for the people, by the people, explains What? Even this question was in shift 1 as well. It explains democracy, and this famous statement was given by the great Lincoln himself on November 19, 1863. That address is famous as Gettysburg Address. Please keep that in mind. And the period of American Civil War was from April 1861 to April 1865. It was during this Civil War that he had made this famous statement, and hey, he had done something very great. He is the person who had abolished slavery. Alright, hats off to him. What does IPC stand for? We have already talked about this 15 times here in this video. Indian Penal Code, Act 45 of 1860. It was drafted by Thomas Babington Macaulay. Temporary release of a prisoner from a prison is called? Of the options, there was only one that was correct. Parole. Alright. Je donne ma parole. This is in French, which roughly translates to I give my word, from where we get this term parole. And you need to be aware of one thing, that there are two such things, parole and furlough. Both the things are temporary release from the prison. Parole is granted for a specific purpose, like you may need to attend funeral rites, the last rites of some relative. Maybe you need to attend some marriage. Alright, whereas grant of furlough is to break the monotony of the imprisonment. Muslim religious foundations are known as Qusat, Ulema, Deen, Waqf. The answer is Waqf. Alright. Qusat is plural of Qazi or Qadi, that is judges. Alright. Ulema is plural of Alim. Alim is a religious scholar, and Ulema is a body of religious scholars. Alright. Deen, of course, we all know religion. Deen-e-Ilahi. Alright. Who can file a public interest litigation in India? Interesting. A citizen of India. That is it. It was introduced by great Justice P.N. Bhagwati. Alright, it was defined in S.P. Gupta versus Union of India case, and PIL can be found through Article 32 of the Indian Constitution in the Supreme Court, Article 226 of the Indian Constitution in High Courts, and also the third one is very important, Section 133 of the CRPC, Criminal Procedure Code, in a magistrate's court as well. What is meant by divorce? Come on, dissolution of marriage. Who allocates election symbols to political parties in India? Election Commission of India? Isn't that? Alright, there are only 6 national parties in India at this stage. It was changed very recently. These parties are Aam Aadmi Party, BJP, BSP, Congress, CPI, Marxist, and NPP, National People's Party. National People's Party is not a party many people actually know about. It was founded by P.A. Sangama in 2012. It is mostly concentrated in the state of Meghalaya, but now this NPP is a national party as recognized by the Election Commission of India. These 3 are not national parties anymore. Never get confused. Communist Party of India, Nationalist Congress Party, and Trinamool Congress. What does NRI stand for? Some say non-reliable Indians, okay, but that is non-resident Indian. The maximum number of NRIs in the world are in which country? The popular answer is USA, but the correct answer is UAE. There are 34,19,875 NRIs in the UAE. The source is Ministry of External Affairs. Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is celebrated on 9th of January to commemorate Gandhi's return to India from South Africa on 9th of January 2015. 17th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas was celebrated in 2023. The host city was Indore. Theme was Diaspora, Reliable Partners for India's Progress in Amrit Kal. And a commemorative stamp, Surakshit Jai, Prashikshit Jai, was also issued. Undivided or joint family is a legal characteristic of which community? Hindu undivided family, HUF, or Hindu joint family? HUF is treated as a person under Section 231 of the Income Tax Act. Who can appoint the governor to a state in India? We all know, the President of India. Article 155 of the Constitution gives this provision. Who is the executive head of a state in India? And in fact, even this question was asked in a different manner in shift 1? And answer of course is the governor, Article 154 of the Constitution of India. What is the total number of high courts in India? Answer is 25. Which two are the youngest high courts? Please put the answer in the comment section of this video. There are 4 states in India that do not have a high court of their own. These are Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland and Goa. Please keep mango in mind. M for Mizoram, A for Arunachal Pradesh, N for Nagaland and Geo for Goa. Alright, the high courts of Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland are at Guwahati High Court. Okay, High Court of Goa, Bombay High Court. The following northeastern states have their own high courts. Yes, Manipur, Meghalaya, Sikkim, Tripura and of course Assam. UTs and their high courts. Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Calcutta High Court. In fact, this question appeared in this shift. Chandigarh, High Court of Punjab and Haryana. Dadra, Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. Yes, it's Bombay High Court. Alright. Ladakh, High Court of Jammu and Kashmir. Alright, okay, no. Now the name of the High Court of Jammu and Kashmir is High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Okay. Lakshadweep Islands High Court, Kerala High Court. Alright. And for Puducherry, there is of course Madras High Court. What does PAN stand for in the context of income tax in India? Permanent account number. Hey, never say PAN number. When PAN itself means permanent account number, would you say permanent account number? Would you? Alright. It's a 10-digit alphanumeric code and the 4th letter from the left indicates whether it is for an individual or a company. Like most of you on your PAN card, you would see that the 4th letter from left would be P. Alright, because it would be for an individual. The 5th letter from left mostly indicates the first letter of your surname. Like Vijay Jha, my surname is Jha. In my case, the 5th letter from left on my PAN card would be J. Which High Court has a jurisdiction over the Union Territory of Andaman and Nicobar Islands? Of course, we have already discussed this, Calcutta High Court. Which case is famous as Aadhaar case? Very important. Alright, of course, this is Justice K.S. Puttaswamy case. He was a judge of the Karnataka High Court. Alright, Maneka Gandhi case was related to the interpretation of Article 21. Right to travel abroad was discussed in this case. Okay. ADM Jabalpur versus Shivakant Shukla case or habeas corpus case was on life and personal liberty. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court, the Honorable Supreme Court had decided that you didn't have this right to life and personal liberty during emergency. Many people consider that as the darkest chapter of the history of the Supreme Court. It was overruled. That infamous case of ADM Jabalpur was overruled. Incidentally, in K.S. Puttaswamy case, by the way, who was Justice Hansraj Khanna and what is he famous for? Would you please tell me? Which of the following is a fundamental right under the Constitution of India? Right to equality, is it? Right to acquire property? Right to travel abroad? None of these. Of course, the answer is right to equality. Right to equality is of course fundamental right. Articles 14 to 18 give you this right to equality. Alright. Right to acquire property, we have already discussed this, is a constitutional right under Article 300A and is not a fundamental right. It was Article 31 of fundamental right earlier, right? 44th Amendment Act actually changed its status. Okay, right to move throughout the territory of India is a fundamental right, undoubtedly. That is Article 19(1)D. Article 19(1)D, but that is right to move throughout the territory of India. Do not get confused here. Right to travel abroad is an, as per the Supreme Court of India, important basic human right. That is not a fundamental right. Please be very careful here. What is hearsay evidence? We do not know the options. Would you please help us by putting the options to this question? If you remember, in the comment section, information which has not been obtained through direct means and has not been experienced by the witness firsthand, like I go to a court as a witness and I say that Suresh told me that Ramesh was actually beating his wife. This is not a direct evidence. This is hearsay evidence. Section 60 of Indian Evidence Act says that hearsay evidence is no evidence. There is another question that can be asked on this. Indian Evidence Act is of which year? 1872, of course. Question number 28. Some people have given an incorrect answer to this. Promises bind the representative of the promiser in case of the death of such a promiser before the performance. Just read the fact. A purchased B's car for INR 5 lakh, and before A could pay, he died. What would you do in this case? The contract is not void. B can recover money from the legal heirs of A. Please be informed. Many people have given you an incorrect answer to this. The answer is option D. And please be on our Telegram group where we put lots of relevant content and we keep you updated as well. And if you like this effort, please give us a thumbs up, share it with as many people as possible, subscribe to CLAT 100. I'm sure after watching this wonderful video, you just subscribe to CLAT 100 and press the bell icon so that we keep you updated. All the best.